Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, man. It's the Hooptalk crew back after a short break. We apologize for not announcing in advance. I don't think we prepared to not have an episode. Schedules just didn't align. It's the holidays. Life happens, man. But we appreciate y'all for coming back, tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new. If you're a faithful fan, man, hit that like button. Let us know in the comment section that you're here, tapped into the podcast. Let's get on with it. We got the last game of GM5 Season 5 to talk about and some ABA action after a quick break from the Royals as well. So we got a jam-packed segment for today. Um, we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Let's start with the GM5. Obviously, man, there's only one game to talk about. It is the last and final game of the season. Uh, the championship between the Vipers and NWO. Me and Pluto were there. Tyler was on vacation with family and whatnot, so he was not able to make it. But I did see he was tapping into the game, so we'll be able to have a good conversation here, man. I'll let Pluto start off. Give us some ups, give us some
Oh,
downs. What did you see, man?
I will say this is everything of what a championship is made of. Um, and I'm going to be kind of detailed with this. You got players that are out, players that stepped up, players that did unbelievable things for their team to help them win, players that were just downright dominant. That's a success for a beautiful championship, one of one game. I'm going to start off with Zuldo. I think Zuldo, at first, I was not the biggest believer. Not that I wasn't a believer, I just didn't see what everybody else saw. He has a pro take to the game, like take to the basket game, that is undeniable. Um, I kept talking and I kept saying, bro, his slow step is like so crazy. Like for him to go full speed and then slow it down the way he does, gotta give him all props. Another person I gotta give props to, just for their run and things like that. I gotta give props to Zay. Zay had a great game. I think Zay was taking out the game emotionally pretty quick with someone like Bulb, who's very physical. Kind of noticed Zay doesn't react the best to physicality. It's not that he's not strong; it's just not his game. And it came down to one person, and I'm gonna say the name is AJ. AJ was downright dominant. He was every player he needed to be that day. All season, he was able to sit back, and that game specifically, he took over. Rebounds, blocks. At one point, me and Nas saw them have about five offensive rebounds in a row in the fourth quarter. This game was won on the boards. It wasn't won by threes. It wasn't won by pretty passing. It wasn't won by offense. It was run by grit and who wanted it more. And I'm not saying the Vipers didn't want it more, but when you have someone like AJ who's 6'5", 6'6", and is nimble and can get to the basket and obliterate defenders, you can't stop that. You have Tommy playing some good basketball off the bench. You have Joseph. Joseph is going crazy, crazy. He had a spin dunk in the game. A lot of people stepped up for count up. I mean count up for NWO. And I got to shout out Berg for his rotation. I think Berg, that for the first time this season, I thought Berg's rotation were beautiful. Um, yeah, and I'll shout out to count up. I mean NWO. They finished the season undefeated. They told us all year this is all year. They had put the exclamation point on it, and they did their job. So shout out to NWO.
Listen, I'll
There
say
was a
it.
part of it though. I'll say it real
But
quick.
I'm
There
listening.
was a part of it though, and I wasn't there, so I'm watching this back, and I don't know what the atmosphere was like on the court, or what you guys were talking about there, but there was a part of it where like the Vipers were seriously lacking effort, not defensively or offensively specifically, but on the boards. I'm not gonna knock Rod at all. Like I'm gonna recognize Rod is tall. He's limber. He can move very quickly. But there's a point where there's three Vipers jerseys underneath the rim. Rod is by the free throw line, nearing the perimeter, and he's still sliding in there to get a board, and nobody is boxing him
I
out.
know which one you're
And
specifically
that's on
talking about
multiple
too.
occasions that's
Yeah,
happening with different players. But I'm going to use Rod as an example because he was the furthest from the rim at that point. There's no reason that he should be able to, slither in and get that board. Like people have to be on the lookout for that. And the game was close. It's not like like a five possession game. You lost by six. That's two possessions. Two of
and
those
Rod did
boards you
not have the
get and you
depth game either.
secure. Yeah, two of those boards you get and you secure, those might be threes that you hit and you come back into the game. But I don't know. That was not a display of like like that specifically on the boards was not a display of effort to me. And it's not like NWO was really using their size a whole lot. It's not like you had AJ and you had CJ getting a ton of these boards as well. It's everybody. Everybody was sliding in there and getting boards. So there has to be like there has to be some level of effort. This is the last game of the season. You guys don't play again for a little while. But go
Yeah.
ahead, Nasa.
Yeah, you said it for me. It really was effort. At the end of the day, I think the Vipers didn't want it as bad as NWO wanted it. I mean, the Vipers, of course, they wanted it. They wanted to win. But I tell people all the time, man, in life, and it applies to basketball. It ain't about what you can tell me; it's about what you can show me. So you know, before the game, y'all could do all your loud clapping and all your momentum drivers and all that stuff to act like, oh, we're ready, we want this, but like you can't go out there and just shit the bed on the boards. You know what I mean? Like you've been taught since you were a little child how important rebounding is, how important defense is. At the end of the day, a defensive stop is not a stop until a rebound is got. You know what I mean? So like you're not stopping anybody. You're allowing them multiple options or multiple opportunities to score. And I mean, shit, that's what lost them the game. At the end of the day, there's nothing else to say about it. I mean, let me see if these stats track. It does. It
It's 5
19.
offensive rebounds to 19. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, 19 offensive rebounds, bro. That's 19 shots that NWO missed. 19 shots that NWO missed. You know what I mean? On average, what are you getting? Like I don't know, like 5 to 8, maybe 8 to 10. I don't know. What's an average number? Five to eight, I think is pretty normal for this type of league. Like it's
I bet you it's like 10.
yeah, like
19 is not
like
normal.
I'd probably say a
Like,
range of 7 to 10. I think that's a comfortable range. And you're talking about 19 offensive boards, bro. That's outrageous. It's like you put that into consideration and like you win the game. That's it because you did what you were supposed to do. You made them miss shots. That's exactly what defense is half the battle. Make them take a shot that they can't make. And you did that,
Yep.
but then you gave them another opportunity to make that shot. Then you gave them sometimes you gave them a third opportunity to make a shot. You know what I mean? And now they get to course correct. I was like, well, okay, well, my shot didn't go in last time, but I'm gonna just get another opportunity to try again. You know what I mean? It was disappointing on that end because I felt like the Vipers definitely had enough to rebound, but I think that zone was just not very well communicated from a rebounding perspective. I think from a defensive perspective, they did a very good job, especially in the second half. I think the zone looked kind of questionable in the first half, me personally, but I think it definitely looked a lot better in the second half. I think the communication was much better. I think their ability to rotate and get on top of people was much better. But it's like when the shot went up, they just stopped. That's what it felt like. The shot goes up and they just stop playing. Like,
Yeah.
I
Every
froze
time.
for only one
Every
team.
time.
what were you waving your finger at? You were saying no to me?
Yeah, that zone. Listen, that zone in the first half is what kept them going. The second half, I agree with you though. We'll say that.
Yeah. The thing
Oh.
in my
We flipped our where I think the zone went well. I think the zone was great in the first, and I think they had to stop it in the second.
Yeah, but not because of the contest or like the actual defending
Yeah.
the shot. They were doing a job of defending the shot. They were doing a good job of forcing them to pass out
Yep.
multiple situations. I think they were doing a good job, but like I said, the shot goes up and they just stop playing. That's what it felt like. Every single time NWO took a shot, it felt like five Vipers players would just stop playing.
staring. Yeah.
Yeah, 39 to 22 rebounds is like insane.
Outrageous.
I would bet that's probably the highest differential that we have this season.
Yeah,
If we
that's
went back and checked. And keep in mind that's a game that was decided by 2 possessions.
Yeah.
You know, you take away a few of those rebounds, you might win that.
My thought process as well is like the hardest thing. I think one of the hardest things in basketball to do is to box out weak side. And it's not that it's hard to do, it's just not something that you're thinking about. And a lot of those rebounds, if you really look at it, it's not the middle defender in the 2-3 that's the problem. He's where he's supposed to be for an offensive rebound. It's those wing players that have to step up and try to box a player out who's crashing in. So Rod squeezing in there. The wing player has to step up and at least bump him so the middle player can get an offensive rebound or a defensive rebound. And I played a lot of 2-3 growing up, and I was the middle man. So when I had good wing defenders, the number one thing I know that would help me a lot in
Them damn
games
bells are
was
driving me
soloing the game.
crazy.
Huh?
Golly, them damn bells are driving me crazy. I can't take it anymore. I had to
Okay,
say
I'll take
something.
it off. I'll take it off. I'll take
Yeah,
it off.
that
I'll
shit
take
is
it off.
driving me crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry for not wearing my jersey. I just got back. I don't know. I gotta find it again. My bad.
Nah, you're
Sorry,
good.
Parker, when you
Hold
see
on. Give me
this.
2 seconds.
That
I
man,
apologize
that
to
man,
you. What the hell?
that man showing us his ball spot. Crazy.
Hey,
Hey, are we all doing that?
fuck you,
No,
Nas.
No.
I got a
I
full,
can show you mine.
I got a full head of hair.
Fuck you,
I'm
bro.
working.
Anyways,
I'm working on something back there. I'm working on it now.
Karen, this is the natural
Couple more
process of
years, it's
whatever
gonna be
life is.
gone.
But back to my point, I just think it's hard to rebound out of 2-3 if a team isn't, like Nas says, disciplined enough to find a man on the weak side, and that is a skill. That is a skill in the NBA. That is a skill in higher leagues. That's a skill that good guards who can rebound do. It's a skill, bro. And if you're not doing that, and if you're not grabbing a man on a rebound, which none of them did, nobody did, you're gonna get destroyed in the rebound battle after you get tired, you get fatigued, shit starts to set in. So you're right, Tyler. 2-3 in the first half, awesome. You have all the energy in the world. But that second half, bro, you're, you know what I'm
It was
saying? You're
bumping.
playing an intense game. There's not a lot of rotation on the Vipers. Dead legs, dead legs. That's all it was at the end of the day.
Enough about
I
the
like the
Vipers,
pickup of
though.
James.
Enough about the Vipers, though. But go ahead if you were gonna say something else about the Vipers. Finish it. Never mind.
I just want to say something real quick. I like the pickup of James a lot. I think that added a lot of versatility to that team. You know, great size, wing defender, can shoot. One thing I want to see less though with the Vipers before we move on to NWO. I love that Ant is shooting a lot more. I don't like that Ant is primarily shooting off the dribble a lot more. You know, step back, snatch backs, like spot up a little bit more if it's not working. I think
Yeah, I think that's more of his
that would
game
have
too.
helped. I think
Yeah.
that would have helped a lot instead of save the post ups a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely shot selection wasn't the best for the Vipers in a lot of situations. And I've said it before. I think a lot of teams tend to play desperate when it's not time to be desperate. And I think that's what loses a lot of teams games. Um, I think they needed desperation on rebounds. I think that same desperation that they played with when it came to taking shots, that's the level of what's the word of that's a sense of urgency that they should have had when it came to rebounding. But they focused all that urgency into shots, and they just started taking a lot of quick shots early in the shot clock, early in the transition, and all that stuff. And I think combined with the rebounding, which was the biggest catalyst, I think that's what lost in the game. But on to NWO, who is really the story of the day, ladies and gentlemen, if not the story of the decade for GM5. The first ever undefeated champions, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking about it all season. Undefeated champs loading, undefeated champs loading. Well, it's done, ladies and gentlemen. That bar hit 100%. Undefeated champs have fully loaded. And they're here. NWO has become the first ever undefeated team in GM5 history. And they got the job done. They won the championship against a very tough Vipers, man. And I wanted to give some shout outs and talk about them because obviously they're the real story of the day. Overall, just a great team effort. We talked about it. They didn't shoot very well. Obviously, that's what leads to offensive rebounding. You got to miss shots in order to get the offensive boards. So, as a team, they shot about 43%, which is about, a little, I'd say about a notch or two below average, probably in most cases, but it wasn't a terrible shooting performance either. Whereas I do feel like on the Vipers side, that was a lot worse. Oh, I'm wrong. Actually, they shot better, 45%. So I'll take that back.
They shot 24 more times though.
That's crazy. Damn, hearing that out loud is crazy. Oh my goodness. But yeah, shout out to the to
You see that?
shout out to NWO. Their hustle showed from the beginning of the game. There was never a point in the game where they were not exhibiting that level of hustle. They came into the game completely on 10. You know what I mean? Like CJ started the game strong. He had the first 6 or 8 points of the game. For NWO, I think he had 8 out of their first 10 points, if I'm not mistaken. I think I remember saying that while I was in the middle of the broadcast. Um, his rebounding definitely was a catalyst. Rod was a monster on the boards, and I mean, Pluto mentioned that AJ had himself one hell of a game, bro. That man was getting past people like it was just nothing. Like he was just being guarded by a bunch of kindergartners. Like it was just a catch, maybe a rip through into a single dribble, and then just head over the rim every single time, bro. Just dunk after dunk. transition, half court. It's like AJ had himself a monster game, and I'm definitely gonna put in my vote for him as the Finals MVP. And we're gonna have the conversation at some point. I also have him as my vote for MVP as well. That's my personal preference for the MVP voting there. However that goes, but yeah, NWO overall was just hustle from the moment the ball got tipped to the moment the clock hit double zeros and that buzzer went off. It was just hustle, hustle, hustle. They never once in that game lack like intensity. I really don't think so. I don't think they ever lacked intensity defensively on the boards, even attacking the rim. You know what I mean? Not as many 3-pointers as we're accustomed seeing them take when it comes to Rod. You know, he likes to take some threes. He likes to dribble into threes. Tommy, we all know he loves to shoot that thing. So, like, overall, just a phenomenal, aggressive, and intense game by NWO and led to a championship, undefeated championship.
Is this right? I just noticed this. I didn't notice this when I was watching the video. Maybe I got to go back and check. NWO didn't hit a single three.
I can almost believe that.
This game.
I can almost believe that there were a lot of missed threes that game from NWO. And I said that to Nas during the game.
For them.
Yeah, I want to shout out somebody else's Bulb. Bulb had at least 3 to 4 steals in the fourth quarter alone. Like clutch steals. He had the one steal where James tried to make that cross court pass behind the backboard. Was a good steal. He had another steal half court when they were trying to pass it across the court on a fast break where he put his hand in, and then he had another steal on Zay in the fourth quarter. He single-handedly gave them at least 4 to 5 more possessions in that game. And Bulb, and I said it to Nas, Bulb was mentally out that game from probably the first quarter when Zay threw a warning elbow shot, you would say, at him, and he was out mentally like most of the game. He even got a tech for walking from the bench to the crowd to complain about something. Not complain. Let me not say that. I rock with Bulb, but he was just upset emotionally. He's emotionally.
Well, complain is the right word.
Guy, huh?
Complain is the right word. No need to sugarcoat it.
Complaining. You know, regardless what Nas says. But at the end of the day, man, there was a question that was asked in the beginning of the year, and it was asked by someone, and I figured it out, Nas. It was asked by Bubba. Who's going to control Tommy and who's going to control Bull? And I think Berg all handled, like, just Berg himself with his rotations and what he would see on the court. He handled it. To me, to his best of his abilities, they have a sense of respect for Berg. The community does, and what he does for the community. They really respect Berg. But at the end of the day, man, he held it down. He got Tommy to finish the season.
I don't really think
he did get fined.
I don't really think Tommy was held under control much this season. Personally, I don't think so at all.
Because he was he gets taken off NWO. You can't control Tommy interacting with the community. You can control Tommy interacting with the team, though, and there was no issues there.
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure if I agree. We definitely talked.
One incident.
We definitely talked a lot of shit about Tommy and his antics on the bench whenever he was taken out of the game. We talked about that early in the season a lot. We got to remember that. Yeah.
But where did he
got the job done?
So he got the job done. Remember, don't let perfection be the enemy of progress.
But what I'm saying though is saying that they did a good job of controlling him is different than saying Tommy never escalated to the point where he would get suspended or kicked out the league. Those are two different things. Tommy's still doing Tommy things. He just managed not to get suspended.
So they managed to kind of dull it down. Was Tommy more disciplined this year than last year? Can we say that?
I think it's pretty equal. What did he do last year? I think he did less last year.
Jersey.
Yeah, which has nothing to do with the league. The league didn't give a damn about that.
That has a part of the league.
But the league didn't do anything. The league didn't do anything about that. So his repercussions this year were worse than last year.
He burned his OTB jersey.
Yeah, like he did a lot last year.
But he didn't get any. But he didn't get any punishments for that. He got punishments this year.
He did. He was kicked off the team.
Yeah, that's fine. He wanted to. He asked to be.
He's kicked off the team. That's still.
We're comparing last year to this year. We're comparing last year to this year.
It was an internal punishment. It was a team punishment.
He got a half game suspension, and he came right back that game,
And a fine.
and everything worked out.
And hooped.
Yeah,
And hooped.
but
That
I
game.
would say that a half game suspension is better than getting kicked off the team.
Yeah.
Draymond, for example, got punished less on the Warriors than Jordan Poole did. Can we agree with that? In this case, Tommy is Draymond.
Wait,
Jordan Poole,
what did Jordan Poole do?
Jordan
What do you
Poole,
mean? He got punched. He got
You
punished
know
for
what he
getting.
did.
He got punched for
he
getting.
used his face. He used his face to hit Draymond, which is disrespectful.
He used his
Yeah,
face
y'all
to hurt
going
Draymond's
tempo in that
hand.
thing.
Yeah, Jordan Poole would be Tommy last season when he got kicked off, and Draymond would be Tommy this season where he wasn't kicked off.
Vindicates to win a championship.
Yeah, he missed one. I don't even know. I don't even know if he got suspended any games. Now that I think about that.
Hey, listen, we could Draymond, yeah, Draymond did, but we could agree to disagree. At the end of the day, I think Bulb was definitely a lot more.
Cowboys.
What's the word?
Disagree.
Uh, I don't even watered down. That's how I put it. I think Bulb was a little watered down in comparison to
That
what I've
bulb watered down.
seen. I mean, he did get kicked out of the league last year, so I'm just
Oh, we're talking offensively. I thought. Never mind. I see where you're going.
yeah. I mean, like in
Ball was
regards to
monster offensively.
antics wise and just going out there and doing things that Bulb sometimes gets bad rep for. I think he definitely was more watered down this season, and I think it's I'd say it's more because of the environment that he's in. I think the team is more willing to have his back and support him through all his craziness and moments. So I agree with the Bulb side of things. I think NWO did a very good job of mitigating Bulb. I'm not entirely sure NWO did a very good job of mitigating Tommy and his decision making.
Okay, instead of giving him 2 points, can we give him 1.5? 1 point for Bulb, and then 0.5 for the half game suspension for Tommy. Can we
Yeah,
give him two
Fair.
points for
sure.
that one?
Let's go with that. Let's they
So he did a good job
listen.
in controlling it.
He went to the free throw line and he missed one of his free throws. That's what I'd say.
Hey, you can't be perfect all the time.
I want to
Steph Curry
give
is like a
Berg
90%
one
shooter.
more credit. And I think
Okay, and then I want to go.
okay. Well, I mean, I'm done. But Berg, the trade for Berto and bringing in Joseph, amazing trade. Someone you can put in there when you put AJ out, a bigger body who can rebound, get to the rim, kind of do a little of everything. Great pickup. Last thing I wanted to say, that was a good trade.
I mean,
Yo, go
I I understand, but I can't say I agree. You know what I mean? Yeah, John Joseph is a good player and definitely did good things for NWO. But I mean, Birdo was averaging 15 off the bench. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they needed to get rid
Yeah,
of
for
him.
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't
I don't
understand.
know.
I don't understand what the kudos there is. But I mean,
They still won a championship while losing a piece like Berto. That's the kudos. They got a player who can come in and kind of do a little something of everything and take a little pressure off AJ. That was the
yeah,
kudos.
I think we have different understandings of kudos. I think that's what it is.
I'll step in here. I want to see more John Joseph. Because when we went to that Goldenrod, the league that they have over there, that's probably one of the most athletic dudes I've ever seen in my life. Like
Yeah, he's
what he
athletic.
does, he's insane. He's
Yeah, he
got
is.
insane bounce. I
He
haven't
does.
seen anything like that. And he could shoot, and he defends pretty well. I want to see more of him next year. I hope that we get the opportunity. I hope that he comes back and we get to watch him play a lot more games. Um, but like you had said, like this team defensively, they played so well. This was overall top to bottom, just a defensive masterclass. There was times where Vipers were getting things going. They would go on a run, and then NWO would come back quickly and they would stop it. They'd
Pop that shit
extinguish
up.
it
Yeah.
within 2 to 3 possessions. They were back in control. They were getting back in the league. AJ kept the energy going in some of the craziest ways I've seen possible. Unguardable going to the rim. You let him get any sort of motion going, any sort of steam, and that was it. You could not stay in front of him. He was going to kill everybody. Like he was destroying it. I don't
He
mean like
dunked on Zed.
yeah,
I don't
but
care.
yeah,
Dunked
yeah.
on Zed.
I really do mean that. He was fucking taking bodies out there with the way
Yeah,
that
he
he's
dunked.
dunking.
Yeah.
He was insane. And Rod, I talked about this all year. Rod's shot isn't falling. and that happens. But Rod is such a great defender this season, and he's really showing it. I think he had the ability last season, but he's showing it a lot more. He
Yeah,
still
he
contributes
popped up.
positively every single night to wins, and he's still somebody that you have to guard. You can't just let him shoot. So even though his shot's not falling, he is still a large impact player in every other area.
Yeah.
Tommy came in and he did what he had to do. I know he didn't hit any threes like we had hoped, but still, he got a couple really important steals there. I'm trying to remember who it was, and maybe you guys can refresh my memory. But I feel like this kind of really sealed the game, and it was a little bit earlier. The Vipers are inbounding the ball to Zay, and somebody, I think it was James, kind of throws it really lazily, and someone gets a steal. Who was that? Do you remember
Tommy.
that? I think it was Tommy. I
It
really
was
do think
Tommy.
it was Tommy.
It
And
was
I
Tommy.
feel like that just kind of changed the game. And I'm talking like that was the second or third quarter. That that really like showed you that one team is just willing to play to do everything to win,
Yeah.
and then the other team just really wants to win. And maybe not everyone's all there necessarily.
Yeah, I think at
But
the end
shout
of
out
the
Coach
day,
Ferguson.
though, I will say this: I think the rotation for NWO was a lot deeper than the Vipers. And I'm not taking away from NWO. I want to keep talking about them, but you're right. Like that rotation shit and playing a certain defense, that's gonna fuck you up throughout the game. Like eventually, you're gonna get tired, and your will to fight is gonna be diminished if you're scoring and someone's coming back and punching you right back in the face. The Vipers are so used to
And they
punching
were.
people in the face. Yeah, the Vipers are so used to punching people in the face that when they were getting punched back, it was like a fighter who's not used to it. And they weren't. I mean, they were used to it. They were still fighting, but at the end of the day, when it's that 12th round, they were gassed, bro. They were just gassed. It's the best way to put it.
I'm telling you, 24 shot difference is crazy. Like every
Yeah,
time I read this, 94, 95 field goals attempted to 71.
that's sad.
That's
Feels sad.
insane. It's those offensive boards.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is a game that's gonna haunt them for a long time. They really shit the bed when it comes to that because it's that's all it takes. You get those rebounds and that's so many buckets that NWO doesn't get to put on the board. But they got it done, man, from beginning to end. They showed us exactly why they were who they were this season. They never let up. AJ making a case for best player in the league once again after just coming off an MVP season. So I'm excited to see, man, what the future holds for NWO. Cross our fingers that everybody's able to come back. There's some speculation and some heated moments. Bulb saying he won't be returning to GM5. I don't actually believe that. I think he's just, in the moment, just talking out his ass at that point
I'm
because
about retiring.
said the same thing last year, and here we are. You know what I mean, winning a championship. So
Champion.
I don't know how I feel about that, man. But Bob, if you're listening, I hope when you listen, because you pay attention. I mean, we definitely want to see you back. So I
For
can't
sure.
wait to see what NWO has to offer for next season, and see if they bring back the same core, see if any adjustments have to be made, and just overall, man, what GM5 has to offer next year. Because the upgrade in talent and the progression of the competition this season was phenomenal. A lot of great teams,
Amazing.
um, even teams that didn't start off well were able to finish up a lot stronger. So it was a very good season overall, man. And shout out to GM5 for having us. It's unfortunate it's gonna be the last podcast where we have any GM5, or one of the last podcasts. We'll have at least one more podcast with some GM5 action to talk about, but it's unfortunate that it's winding down. What's still up in the air and still going on is ABA though. The ABA is gonna be going on for the next couple of months at least. I think they usually finish up regular season in around March ish, and then they also have playoffs. So I think their full season usually ends around April if I'm not mistaken. So we're gonna have some ABA action to talk about, man. We just had the Royals facing off against the River Region Generals. Very interesting team with a lot of great players. Actually, I put the roster in the group chat if you guys want to take a peek at that, so you know the players that you're going to be referencing. But River Region Generals, they came visiting from Alabama. They played the Polk County Royals this past Saturday for some ABA action. And it was a decent team, very good team. They kept it close the majority of that game. And as usual, the Royals tend to uh, intensify after halftime. Whatever those halftime speeches and game plans are, they have been working consistently because they usually come out in that third quarter and maybe halfway through the third quarter, sometimes the fourth quarter, and they just kick it up a notch, and it becomes suffocating. It becomes very difficult to handle defensively. They start making shots, and they didn't even have everybody. They were missing Joe Stubbs. They were missing Alex Torre. They were missing Eels, the MVP, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys know, you know.
I don't think Jeremiah was there either.
Jeremiah who?
Zitz.
Zitz. No, he was not. Zitz was not there, or at least he never stepped on the court. If he was ever on the bench, I don't know. But uh,
Wasn't there.
they were missing a lot of players, and Generals took advantage of it for a while, and unfortunately fell short. Man, Pluto, you were there with me, man. What were your thoughts of that game, and what did you see?
Some key
That's what I want to
standouts.
say too.
Steps. I think Steps is freaking uber athletic, man. He had this one take where he laid. He was. It looked like he was going up for a regular layup, and then he just stayed in the air for another 2 seconds, and he reverse laid it around the rim. I thought that was the play of the day. You remember that play, Nas? You know, what I'm
Yes.
talking about. I think that was top tier play. And also Kels. That team plays different with Kels on the floor. They're a lot more feistier. They're a lot more, I would say defensively driven. I feel like when they have a certain big man in, their offense kind of changes. I think specifically with them. But when you have that Bo and you have Kels out there at the same time, that shit's scary down there, man. And that's what it was. It was suffocating. The Generals could not get a shot up. They could find a shot. They couldn't take a shot that wasn't suffocated or contested. I mean, at one point they did make a little run. Their point guard, I mean, dude was fast, but he was sliding everywhere because of his shoes. He was playing in fours, and I looked at the bottom of the shoes,
Oh.
and there was nothing, no grip. And I was like, bro, you'd probably be the fastest person on the court if you had some like type of shoes on. He's like, I always play in J's, but he was pretty nice for his size. He did quite a bit for their team, and he was a pretty decent ball handler. Made some okay decisions. But the team in general that they played, it's like always that third quarter, like you guys said, and I see it in person now, 2 times in a row. It's suffocating. That defense becomes just you can't call everything. You can't call everything, and that's what it turns into.
I have a
But
question.
go ahead.
Um, and don't cheat. All right. I have a question. So the same guy, the kid with no grip. He's fast. You already said that. What's another aspect of him that stands out immediately?
He's short.
He is.
The short king.
Do you know what his
Nah, I
name
know what he
is?
wants me to say.
Do you know what his name
I know what
is?
it is. Not good at names, you know this.
Oh, Dennis Short.
His name is Dennis Short, which is the funniest thing. Which is the funniest thing to me. I tried
That is
so hard.
hilarious.
I tried so hard to make a joke about it, but something had happened, and I got distracted, and my ADHD got the best of me. I could never go back to that mindset of making that joke, and I never got a chance to make a joke on the broadcast, man. But I saw his number,
That's
and I
funny.
went to go look at his name so I can say something about him because he had made a nice layup, and then I saw his name was Dennis Short, and I don't know if you could probably hear it. I had like a very audible pause because my brain just fired. I was like, I gotta say something about this. This man 4 foot tall. His last name is Short. That's crazy.
Bro,
But
he had
Oh,
two deep ass threes in
you
the third
barely
quarter
said
to
it
bring
with
him back.
failure.
yeah,
He had two deep ass threes in the third quarter to bring him back to like a respectable amount. But he was hooping. He was sliding everywhere, bro. It was just like he was just
yeah, he was
sliding.
good. He was good,
Cyrus looked
definitely.
crazy too.
Yeah, he was good. He's a
Huh?
perfect example of you add some inches to a player and you never know the difference that it could
He'd
make.
be nasty.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was tough for him to get some shots over certain lengthy defenders when it comes to the Royals side, but he did his thing. He managed it very well. He scored often, whether it was layups. Pluto just mentioned he hit some threes in that fourth quarter, which definitely gave them a bit of a chance there to try and pull back into the game, but they could just never bounce back. But yeah, they had a lot of interesting players. I was very intrigued by Raekwon Taylor, number 0, for anybody who wants to go back and watch the broadcast. He was essentially their big man. Very, very shocking player. Very shocking player. You'd never guess by his build that he would have the ability to get to certain spots and get to his layups, get to the basket with that type of ease. But he was doing a really good job of putting the ball on the ground and bringing those shoulders down and just mowing his way to the basket. And I think by his build, you don't really anticipate that to happen. But shout out to him. He took a three. at one point in that game. And the first opportunity I could, I asked him to never shoot again because I was gonna leave. Go watch the broadcast. I think it was maybe in the third quarter, possibly the fourth. Number 0. You'll see it when you see it, man. He took one jumper, and let me tell you, that thing looked funky as hell. As soon as he
He's
got
a
close to the
machine.
table, I said, "Please don't ever shoot again, or I will leave. I can't watch that again." That shit was crazy. He was funny though. He was funny. He
Are you
said,
talking about the one-handed bandit?
"Yeah, that shit was
Bro,
crazy."
this man took a scope out, went like this, went like this, and he said, "Yeah, this is it. This is the one." He shot it like I said that joke. His coach and the lady that did their stats was dying. They actually laughed at the joke because I was like, he should never, ever. It went in them. It was us. I was like, what the fuck?
You get one of those a game though. You have to get one of those a game.
I'm
Bro,
glad it
it
was
was
only
crazy.
one. I'm glad it was only one. But shout out to him. He was good though. He played very well.
Yeah.
Tonio, number 24. Again, I'm gonna keep saying the numbers for anybody who does decide to go watch it, to go back and watch the game. Number 24 was Tonio. They did not give us a last name for him, unfortunately. But he was very good as well. He had a lot of good moments. Very athletic player. I think overall, um, the generals looked good. I told Dale, who is part of the Royals ownership. I told them like they did a very good job of finding some quality opponents this year. Games are much closer.
Yeah.
Teams are actually showing some good competition because I'm not afraid to admit it. When I did the Royals games last year by myself, man, that shit was boring. I'm not gonna lie, man. You go back to those Royals games last year, that fourth quarter, I was just quiet. I just couldn't figure out what to say anymore. The game, they were up by 50 at that point. You know what I mean? They were up by 50 consistently at that point. I was like, I just don't know what else to say. What am I gonna just keep telling this team that they suck? I was like, keep telling them that they're taking bad shots. Keep telling them that they're making bad passes. You know what I mean? Like, what am I gonna do? Another quarter of that shit? So
Down by
I
47.
I just went to go get a snack and just enjoyed myself, man. But this year, the teams have been great. Dale was telling me how they've been looking for out of state teams, and it's worked. It's worked for them. They've given their crowd something worth watching. People are very excited to come
They
to
have a
Royals
crowd.
games. Yeah, people are excited to come watch Royals
Amy
games.
talks about it too.
Yeah,
Amy
Yeah.
says the same thing. She talks about often. She looks for traveling opportunities to play those out of state teams. She looks for much harder competition. And I mean,
Yeah.
you can't tell me that the Royals don't look good. Don't
Yeah,
look
what they're
just as good.
cultivating is amazing. What they're cultivating over there, you got to do something more than once to kind of get it. And I have, I have my busy season in my job, and you guys held it down for me. But now that I'm going there and I'm seeing it, it's never less than like 10 people in that gym who've paid. Anybody who does this or who have ever had a team, that's what you want in the beginning. You want something like that. You want returners, repeat, offenders to come back, watch the game, and they have a fan base, and I love that. People go in the city and they cheer for them. But what I also love about them is that yeah, Amy set them up with harder competition, but they stepped up. They've played very well, and they've done good. And then the last thing I want to say is like just the integrity of that team. You have Amy running around, making sure everything's good. You have Dale, like Nas says, he's on the scoreboard, making sure he has the rule book right next to him. He's by the book all the time. So it's just like what they're running in the operation they have there is beautiful, and it's working amazingly, and they have a community behind them. That's the biggest thing whenever you do anything like this is having a community, and I think that's awesome.
Two players on the Royals almost had triple doubles.
Yeah,
Can you
but who?
guess who?
I would say Moody's one of them.
Moody. Okay. What do you think? What points? You know,
I
blocks,
think
rebounds. What do you think?
definitely points, steals, and maybe assists, if that.
Points, rebounds, and assists. So he had 17,
Uh,
9 rebounds, 8 assists. Who do you think the other player was?
Charles,
No,
Kel.
man, I said he
no.
said no.
Oh,
It's kind of
Uh,
Moody's right hand man. I'll give you a hint. We see them played very often
Cyrus,
lineups together.
Cyrus,
Cyrus,
Cyrus is
22
dope.
points,
I like this game.
9 assists, 10 steals.
Yeah, yeah.
He had a
That's
monster game. 2 blocks. He had a block early in the first quarter. No, towards the end of the first quarter. like a mean block. Do you guys remember that?
No.
Yeah, I think it
Oh,
was. It may have been on short. I think it may have been on
it
him.
was.
Yeah.
It was. But man,
Oh,
he went
monster block,
insane.
huh?
Hey, come on. Listen, I'm a short king. I don't.
Yeah,
I
I hear
gotta
you.
kind
I
of
hear you. I
shadow
hear
one of
you.
my own. When you block one of us, it's kind of tough.
That's why I have this hat, guys. That's why I have this hat.
No, but
Short king hat.
he looked insane this game, and I'm watching back, so I'm missing kind of like how it felt in the arena. But Jesus Christ, 22 points, 9 assists, 10 steals is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
It
he
is.
Was he
started
just
off the
ripping
game
everybody?
really good,
Was he what?
but
Was he just ripping everybody?
Oh,
no, it was like off passes. Like a lot of their players would go up and try to score, and they would look for a bailout, and he was there to like kind of steal it. I mean, yeah, he got a couple rips, but most of them were off bailout passes, like just last minute trying to get it over there, type shit.
Jesus Christ, man.
yeah. I think the
Yeah,
That
Generals.
is,
I didn't know he was a solid 6'3", 6'4". Cyrus is pretty big. I didn't know that.
yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's pretty tall. But yeah, I think the Generals kind of just let it slip away. I think that second half, especially the fourth quarter, you can even hear the coach consistently yelling about it. They were just too stagnant, just standing around, not active offensively, not active defensively, and that the Royals they kick it up to a different notch in that second half. So you got to be able to keep up with that pace as best as you possibly can. Um, and the Generals just didn't do that. And I think every team so far that we've seen go to Carver is the same thing. They kind of just they die out in that second half, and that Royals defense becomes so suffocating and so difficult to handle when they're just all on a string defensively, just all hounding the ball, yelling and communicating everything that's going to happen. So the Generals were a very good team. I think they needed more energy in that second half because they just kind of just let the game run past them. You know what I mean? And the Royals, they're not going to do that. They're going to play as hard as they can from the moment the game starts to the moment the game ends. Nobody got bit this
Yeah.
time, though.
No tetanus shots after the game. I will say this: I saw my coach from high school. I mean, not my coach. My ref that used to ref my high school and Y games. I think that was a pretty cool, heartfelt moment. He didn't notice me at first because I'm fat now, but eventually he noticed me. He's like, "Hey," he goes, "You're not in jail. You didn't do anything." He was so happy that I just was on the right path.
Little does he
Yeah,
know.
he was pretty,
What?
it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
But yeah, man, shout out to the Royals, man. Great game. Dale was mentioning to us there's a team from Mississippi that they'll be playing on January 17th. I'm gonna be excited for that one. He mentions that that's gonna be a tough matchup. They visited them. I don't know when, but they visited them already, and I believe they lost by 6 points. I think is what he told me. The Royals lost by 6 points over there. So that's a game that I'm looking forward to, man. So make sure y'all tap in January 17th. If the Royals are willing to, give somebody their props, that means it has to be a good team. It has to be definitely a team that they're willing to respect is always going to be a tough team to compete against. So that's a game that I'm very excited about. If you haven't already, make sure you go tap into that video because it's already up. By the time this podcast episode comes out, make sure you watch the re-uploaded version to eliminate any of the lag or any of the unnecessary, internet connection issues, so you can watch it smoothly, man. But it was an exciting game of basketball, and if you're interested in knowing what the ABA is all about, potentially even trying out for a team for their upcoming seasons, this is a great way to start. Watch some Royals basketball, see the talent, see the opportunities that there are out there in the ABA. But speaking of leagues, though, and the last topic of the day, the Oxleague, ladies and gentlemen. The Oxleague's going to be returning here shortly. I don't know 100% if their dates are set in stone, but it looks like they're going to be starting in the fall instead, sometime in March. Trying to pull it up here as I speak. So if you're interested, whether you're a
Wait,
team owner, whether you are
in the
a
spring.
player, what happened?
In the spring, not the fall.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, spring.
Yeah, he said,
That is what I meant to say. In the spring, yeah, sometime in March here. March, I believe, midway through March, if I'm not mistaken. Beginning of March, actually. March 6th is when they're planning to start their season. So, like I said, if you're a team owner, if you're a player looking to try out, or if you're a team owner looking to put in a team, man, I think it's definitely worth it. The level of talent that they went from the summer or the middle of the summer to the end of the summer when they had their secondary league was a huge jump. So it's a league that's evolving and it's evolving fast. So, whether you're a GM5 personnel watching the podcast right now and you're interested, man, go to the Oxleague on Instagram, hit them up, ask them whatever questions you have to figure out, what the costs are, what the rules are, and everything you need to know. Hit them up, man, and start the conversation if you're interested. Players, man, they're going to have combines. Teams are going to be looking for players, all that good stuff. Hit them up. Go on the Oxleague on Instagram and ask whatever questions you need to ask. Check out their what do you call it? Their Instagram page for all their information, and go to our YouTube. We had all their games on our YouTube channel just a few months ago. They're still up. Go watch whatever games. Watch the championship game, which is very exciting, or watch the playoffs in general. Very exciting stuff, and you'll see what the Oxleague is all about. I think it's worth it. What do you guys think? You think what teams do you think you're petitioning to come join the Oxleague? Which
I would
teams would
love
you hit
to
up?
see
Hold up. A
Count
team
Up. Yeah,
that
me too.
always plays together. I would pick Count Up.
Count Up
The
as well
City
for me.
Ballers.
City Ballers would be a good. No one too. I mean, that league. You put a team like NWO in there, OTB or Vipers. That league won't be fun. But you throw in a couple, teams that can really give them a run for their money, like Count Up. You said. I think that's a good little draw.
You're
But
calling some of these teams bums. That's what he's kind of getting at.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
saying that they're bums. I'm not saying that they're bums. The talent level.
So why
is
wouldn't
different.
it be fun?
Next year.
If they're not bums, they should
Huh?
be able to compete, right?
If you guys want to see a bunch of ass whoopers, I'm here for it. Yeah, listen, I'm with whatever.
That man just
NWO back.
that man just doubled down. He just doubled down on calling them buns. Like really.
I'm not calling you bums, but in this case, you are kind of bums. That's what he got.
Love y'all though.
Jesus
Love y'all.
Christ,
My favorite
man.
league in the.
Is it?
Yeah, Count Up
Yeah,
is
that's my favorite league in the. Yeah, go ahead.
Count Up is a good one. I think Count Up would be good, man. I'd love to see these rec league teams that me and Tyler got a chance to watch. Did we go to one or two? We went to two rec leagues, right?
Two.
Two, yeah.
Barnett Park and Goldenrod.
Yeah. Some of these rec leagues are have a lot of different variety in teams. I would love to see some of these rec leagues tap in and start branching out to some of the more lucrative men's leagues, if you would say it that way. That would be very interesting. But NWO is definitely a team that crossed my mind. But I will say you definitely need to tweak the roster a little bit just to kind of match the personnel over there. But the Oxleague is a newer league, and I think with the growth that they had, they're gonna be great. The Viper, I'm intending to put the Vipers in there again. We're gonna have a much improved roster. We're having success in the E League right now, and hopefully we can bring that over to the Oxleague as well.
Let me say this: don't tweak your roster. The last time that we said the Oxleague was worst competition or whatever, the next season everybody joined them. Do you remember that? They might be.
Did you just do that?
Yeah, there's sound effects now.
Thanks for trying that out in the middle of the goddamn
My bad, I
podcast.
didn't know it was gonna happen right
Next
then and
season,
there.
though, next season I expect them to be even better.
Yeah, I agree.
We've seen it.
I'm gonna hit people
So
up.
I would not come with weak competition.
I'm gonna hit people up legitimately. I really am gonna hit some people up, some teams up, and be like, "Yo, like join the Oxleague." Like, you know what I mean? Like they're going for 10 weeks this time. I don't know. I think that's not. I don't know what. I don't know. I didn't ask any questions, so let me not assume. But they said 10 weeks. I know it's not including playoffs, but I don't know if it's including a preseason in that 10 weeks. So I don't know.
Probably Jamboree game.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's I don't know if it's what do you call it? I don't know if it's 10 games of regular season or maybe like 9 games of regular season and one preseason game. I don't know exactly what it is, but 10 weeks is more than they did the last 2 seasons because the last 2 seasons was only 5 weeks of regular season and then 2 weeks of playoffs. I think they may have done the playoffs in 1 week the second time. I feel like they did.
Yeah, they did because that one weekend it was over.
Yeah. Yeah, they did Friday and Saturday. That's what they did. They did back-to-back days. I remember now. Yeah. So it's going to be more basketball to be played, man. And it would be really cool if the Oxleague could develop into the next, lucrative men's league in the area because you have GM5 happening towards the fall. If the Oxleague could claim this springtime, I don't actually know when Nation happens. I'm not gonna lie. I have to get better at tapping into what Nation is doing because they also run a very good league over there. I haven't done my best job of learning, throughout the year what they do. I think they do twice a year though. But if they could all kind of coordinate and just try their best to fit into each other's schedules, I know as a business perspective, you don't really care about that. You know what I mean? You want to compete for the better spot at the end of the day. What time of the year is most convenient for you to succeed? But like, I would love it if these leagues kind of combined and kind of took over different sections of the year, if that makes sense, because that would be cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they could use
That
each
would
other
be
to.
dope.
I think it'd be such a great opportunity. Like you see this player playing in the Oxleague because you played against him. I want him in my league, or I want him in my team. Kind of like what Pink does with the Ace League.
What do
Yeah,
you
It,
he
mean?
it
snaps
really
with
is a
that.
great opportunity where he goes around to the different leagues and he kind of picks and pulls players for OTB.
Oh,
Like it's a good idea, and he does it because his involvement in those leagues. Like it's good
Yeah,
competition, good way to recruit. It helps everybody.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's exciting stuff, man. So hit up the Ox League if you're interested as a player, as a team owner, man. I'm gonna be hitting up some people too. I'd love to see some new teams in the Ox League. But another league, and the last thing I'll say is also the Thursday night basketball league. Shout out to TP for starting something new. More of the recreational side of things, not as much, not as intense as GM5, but really just trying to keep basketball going for as long as possible. That's really what's happening right now. And I think Atleta showed up at the perfect time. Honestly, like basketball is just
Yeah.
becoming bigger and bigger. You know what I mean? Like leagues are happening everywhere. The Oxy, the Selling Nation is starting to pop off. Selling Nation is not new, by the way. Let me make that clear. They've been going on for years. But my point is, all these things happening now, even the FBA tapping into the men's league side or the recreational side with a lesser, E League and a more developmental environment with their E League. I think it's dope, man, that we decided to really start branching into this basketball community at this time because I think basketball locally it's at its height in Central Florida. You know what I mean, or in our designated area of Central Florida. And I mean, I'm here for it, man. I'm excited for what 2026 has to offer. Did you guys have anything you wanted to
Yes, sir.
add before we wrap it up?
I was
Is
gonna
this the
say
last part of the
Celebration.
year?
Say that again.
No. Is this the last part of this year, or we got one more, guys?
Yeah, most likely we have nothing to pot about next week. There's nothing else happening.
You know what we're doing Thursday?
What?
Thursday night basketball league. On
Yeah,
the move.
we could do that.
It's Christmas that day, guys.
Ah!
Oh yeah,
Yeah, maybe it
You
might
guys
be.
can do that.
never,
Let's revisit that.
never mind. I haven't had a chance to stop by
Uh,
yet, man. Very unfortunate, but I will eventually. I definitely will eventually. I'd be shocked if they're even having the league that day. I'd be
yeah, it's
shocked.
also the next week is New Year's Eve, so I don't know if you guys are going to do that either. So we're probably not going to be there for the next 3 weeks.
That one I'll probably do because I don't do New Year's Eve until like 10.
I'm down to go and check it out real quick before I gotta go do my things. So yeah, I'll check it out. I'll check a couple games out.
Yeah, it would
We can
be.
do next Thursday if it's on.
It would be New Year's.
Let's ask TP when it is. We'll ask.
It'll be New Year's Day. But yeah, yeah, I definitely want to go. I wanted to go for the opening day. I forget what happened that I ended up not going. It turned out not to be the opening day. It turned out to be something different, like an exhibition day. And then when the opening day actually came, that got canceled, moved to another week. And I was like, oh, great, I can make it. And then boom, something else happened. So I've just been consistently unable to make it. Thursday's just a random day, but make sure y'all tap in, man. It is free, by the way. It is free for anybody who wants to just scope out the competition. For anybody who wants to recruit players. I think for ABA teams and FBA teams, you'd be surprised, even TBL teams, if there's anybody from the TBL side that happens to tune into our podcast, you'd be shocked of what you can find in these leagues. That's something
Yeah,
that you'd be shocked about. Um, it's the talent can get pretty interesting, and I think a lot of these
Look at
ABA
Riley.
teams, who,
Riley's a good example. Riley Gaines.
who,
Riley, he was on that yellow team, the Tigers in the Oxford.
Riley Kilgore.
oh yeah, Riley Kilgore.
Kilgore. Why did I think
Oh,
Gaines?
yeah, I don't know where you got that from. I was like, who the hell is Riley Danes? But yeah, that's a good example. He's a very good player, great shooter. Just overall, what was the guy who looked like Brandon? Brandon. I forget his name now. What's the NBA player's name? Brandon Miller.
Brandon Miller.
What was his name?
Oh man, I don't know his name.
Oh, well, either way, I don't want to bore anybody with the details, but yeah, but that's another player example. You know what I mean? Like athletic, great shooter, great feel for the game. It's you'd be shocked of the talent that you can find around here. And you know, when we get off the podcast, if the guys will allow me 5 minutes, I actually have something to bring up about that. So ABA teams, FBA teams, you know, if there's any TBL people who watch our podcast, which I would, you know, love to hear if that's the case. If you are here, hit us up in the comment section. I would love to know. You'd be shocked. These leagues have talent that is worth scouting, and that's really what I would leave this podcast with, man. Tune into these leagues, tap in, whether it's watching them through us, whether it's going live, tap in with them. You'd be shocked of what you could possibly find, what diamonds in the rough are available out there, man. But other than that, y'all make sure you subscribe. Y'all make sure you like and share with all your Hooper friends and family. If you know anybody in the ABA, TBL, FBA, share it with them. Make sure they hear this part. Tell them, tap into the last section of this podcast. They have some very interesting stuff to say. Share, like, subscribe. We're out of here. Deuces.
See y'all soon.
All right, y'all boys. I got